Hello, welcome, my name is Bjorn, thank you for joining me today, and today we're going to be looking at, Mumei? Hope I'm not wrong with that. It's a character from an anime that I have yet to watch, and it seems like I'm going to have to watch it because it doesn't seem all too bad, and, it was kind of requested that I take a look at this character and come up with a build for it. But anyways, this character is a little bit wild. It actually kind of really reminds me of Alice from, Resident Evil. Very, very powerful. From my very layman's understanding, there's some sort of virus outbreak or something like that within this universe, and instead of her losing her mind, she gained all the benefits of, say, the T-virus, or whatever the heck it's called, I can't quite remember, and she's kept her sanity, but she's gained all these abilities and powers. She has a moment, though, where if she pulls this violet ribbon around her neck, like, it amplifies her powers. It's fucking crazy. I'm still reading into it, but I've gotten a good idea of her abilities and powers, and I think I've came up with a pretty efficient build here to suit that. And it's a wild one, so let's get into it. Alright, so as we can see here, it's not something I thought I'd ever throw together. As we can see here, we have a Thief Rogue, level 3, we have the Path of the Totem Warrior Barbarian. We're going to be able to rebrand this possibly with talking to our Dungeon Master. I feel like if we just change the name of a few things here, it's going to make more sense continuity-wise for this character if you're looking to really play this Mumei individual and fit into this kind of universe. If not, I mean, you can just stick with the Totem Warrior names and titles and all that. We have the Gunslinger Fighter here, only level 3. I felt that was all that was really necessary of it. And we have a Monk of level 2. This is mostly just for a little bit of benefit. Monk isn't absolutely necessary here, so if you don't feel like investing as many ability points as we're going to need into all the multi-classing that were needed here, you can ignore Monk, and I would say throw maybe one into Thief and one into Fighter. This way you'll gain 2 new ASIs. You can invest more into, say, your Dexterity or your Constitution or your Strength, whatever you're looking to make up for, and that could be another path to take. Alright, so I mentioned multi-classing. Let's go ahead and jump into what's actually needed for it. So the Rogue, it's going to require a Dexterity of 13. That's not too bad. The Fighter, it's either a Strength or a Dexterity of 13, so nice overlap with the Rogue. I'm leaning this character to be more of a Dex build because of that. The Monk requires a Dexterity of 13 and a Wisdom of 13, so that's pretty decent. Again, more overlap. It's just we're branching out into Wisdom. And then the Barbarian requires a Strength of 13, and so, you know, there's only 3 main stats that you're looking for. However, for your stat priority, I would say get your Dexterity as high as possible. This is going to be the stat that we're going to be using for attacking with our guns, for example. And then the ones that follow after that, I would say, honestly, and your Strength and Constitution are most important as opposed to your Wisdom, because the Wisdom is just there in case, you know, you want to add in that Monk and gain a lot for those 2 levels there. But the Wisdom isn't, you can just have the minimum requirement for your Wisdom, but I plan on going unarmed with the Barbarian unarmed defense, so I plan on having a high Dexterity and a high Constitution, and those 2 are going to give us a nice AC with this build. I recommend looking at the Outlander. This is going to give us Athletics and Survival, tool, an instrument of choice, and a language. It also gives us Wanderer here. I feel like if you're in a zombie apocalypse type scenario, Wanderer is going to be invaluable to you. Go ahead, pick whatever background you feel suited towards the character that you're creating, and have fun with it. Now, for the race of choice, I've decided to go with the straight up Wood Elf here, because from what I understand with this character's powers, I have them right here. She has a lot of, you know, enhanced strength, enhanced speed, enhanced reflexes, enhanced senses. That sounds like an elf to me. So obviously we have enhanced perception through, obviously, with dark vision. We also have keen senses with perception skill just given to us, and also we gain Mask of the Wild. We can hide better, but also what it doesn't say here, we have increased movement speed. So I mean, Wood Elf just seems a perfect fit to me, really. Alright, now time to get into this crazy, wacky fucking class that I've made here. So, I started off with a Thief Rogue. I wanted to start off with a Thief Rogue because it's going to give us the most for our proficiencies. I've decided to go with Acrobatics, Stealth, Sleight of Hand, Insight. The reason for this character is very, again, physical, but I also want to still play up to that roguish archetype within the group and fit into that. So, I mean, that's my own personal preferences here. You can go with whatever. I mean, Investigation is another good one, especially if you're looking for those traps, but, you know, up to you. As for expertise, I've decided to go with athletics and perception here. Again, this character is very, very strong, very athletic. Jumping, climbing, anything that you do without those sorts, they fall under athletics in Dungeons and Dragons. You might be able to persuade your DM to go with, say, acrobatics over athletics, but generally the DC will be higher as opposed to it being just a straight up athletics roll. And I felt that expertise in this is pretty nice because now we don't need to have as high of a strength score. And perception, of course, obviously fitting into that role of we're able to perceive. I can't remember how it was worded here, but we're able to perceive things from a very insane long distance. These cabane, yeah, sure, I'll go with that. Of course, we can sneak attack. We're only 3 levels in. It's not too much damage, but that's consistent damage that we can do. Cutting action, very useful. And then we come down into the roguish archetype where I've decided to go with Thief. This is primarily just for the second story work. From the description that I've read, it sounds like this is based off in a city. She's climbing, she's jumping across rooftops. This adds into her being physically adept at anything, really. This is great, especially for such a high dex score build, and having a decent strength as well. We can get some insane jump distance. I'll show that here in a little bit with a jump distance calculator I found. And of course, we gain fast hands, pretty useful. But, I mean, I don't really know if this necessarily fits into the character, but it can fit into your own character. This is just a play style, right? You make this character your own, make a backstory of your own, claim it as your own. You know, I've always felt that's more satisfying. All right, now we're gonna leave the Thief Rogue, and this is where the multi-classing gets all fucky, because I don't really know what to dip into first. So we're gonna either look at going into the Barbarian or the Fighter next. It really depends on what you want. The Gunslinger Fighter. This really depends. If guns already exist in this world that you're in, and you've worked out with your DM that maybe you're going to be creating these guns, you're probably going to want to go fighter sooner than later, because you're going to be able to start crafting those guns and becoming better at using them and shit like that. But if the guns, again, already exist in this universe, I mean, maybe your Dungeon Master, you can work out with that the Rogue has proficiencies in these weapons, because I mean, it only makes sense that a Rogue would want to use a fucking pistol or a rifle even. Why the hell wouldn't you want to? But I mean, this is more things that you're gonna have to work out with your Dungeon Master. So if you already have the guns in your verse, maybe you want to go into the Barbarian, but the Gunslinger does go into a few nice things, and it's only a 3-level dip, so it might be worth it. I don't know. We'll start out with the Fighter here, because that's probably the route that I'm gonna go. Alright, so as for the Fighter, we do gain a fighting style. This is gonna be a hard choice. See, archery, of course, with most gunslingers will fall under the same category with your weapons. So you gain a +2 to bonuses, but I mean, if you want to go dual wield, it looks like she's dual wielding some guns. It might be worth going with 2 weapon fighting, because this can apply to, say, both hand crossbows. If you're firing one after the other, that can happen. That's a thing, and then you'll be able to apply the damage modifier onto it with, say, your pistols, or maybe you've convinced the DM to allow you to wield a rifle in each hand. That would be insane, but hey. But 2-weapon fighting, I think, is a good option for this, or archery. I might just go with 2-weapon fighting. It really depends on how I feel like with this character. We, of course, gain Second Wind. That's going to be D10 +3 for us. We gain Action Surge, Invaluable. We gain, of course, once we come down to the Martial Archetype, we choose the Critical Role Gunslinger. Make sure you have that option turned on. And we gain a whole bunch of shit here. We gain, obviously, with Gunsmith. You can make guns, firearm proficiency. This is just maybe redundant at that point, but we do gain trick shots. I've decided to go with Violent Shot and Deadeye Shot, giving ourselves advantage or a shit ton more damage. There's obviously other shots that you could use. Disarming Shot is very, very valuable. It could make sense for this character, or, Violent Shot. It's really depending on what you're wanting. These are the 2 only shots that you're going to be getting, so, pick wisely. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Barbarian here. I didn't actually expect to go with Barbarian here, because obviously with Raging you get some extra damage on strength-based weapons. With our guns, we're going to be using our dexterity score, so we're going to lose out on some of the bonuses that Rage give. But there's nothing that says a Barbarian can't use long-ranged weapons. It just makes more sense for them to be in melee most of the time, but in Dungeons and Dragons, this case is for you to be mid-ranged or somewhere, it doesn't, just because you're at a ranged or you're not the tank doesn't mean you're not at danger. So there's good chances that you're going to be able to stay within the range or the rage as well. So it's kind of finding the right balance of where you should be positioned within, say, your group or the combat. But the main reason why I did go with the Barbarian was just because it sounds like this character can endure some crazy shit. Of course, we gain unarmored defense. I was saying that earlier. I'm planning on using my dexterity modifier and my constitution. So that's why this is going to work out nice for us as well. We, of course, gain reckless attack. This is, again, based off on strength weapons. So it doesn't really apply to the marksman weapons. I think I read somewhere, though, that she decapitated someone. So it doesn't sound like she's so hard locked into, using these ranged weapons. It's just maybe preferable. I'm not sure of the entire universe. I mean, being swarmed by zombies fucking sucks. So, I mean, ranged would make more sense. But, having the option to be both very effective in a ranged situation and a melee situation, it seems very beneficial to me. So I still see this as more of a benefit than some sort of awkward ground that you're not going to be able to tread very well. We also gain danger sense, very useful for avoiding and dodging out of those things. It says that she's very, agile and can dodge out of a lot of stuff. Enhanced reflexes. So I felt like danger sense fit that pretty well. And then, of course, we come down into the primal path. I've decided to go with the totem warrior here. I felt like maybe the berserker could make sense. It sounds like whenever she pulls off this violet ribbon, that she loses her fucking mind in some regards. I can't remember what it said. Like she becomes more blood crazed. She thirsts for blood, something along those lines. So Berserker could make sense, but I like the Totem Warrior because, of course, sounds like she has a high endurance. I've decided to go with Bear Totem here. Make this chick as tanky as possible. Why not? If you don't want to go tanky, of course, you could always go for more movement speed. You can go for like the Tiger, for example. So that would be insane. But I feel like we have enough movement kind of things going on here, enough jump distance. So I felt like Bear is very suitable for this character. We also gain Spirit Seeker. I'm not sure how well this is going to fit into, say, the Mumei. But this is something that you can play up with. Maybe you can work with Dungeon Master and change up. I was mentioning earlier that you could rebrand certain things. I mean, it's very easy. Instead of going with Bear, I don't know if there's like different types of zombies within this, or they're not necessarily zombies, but if there's like a heavy zombie, maybe whatever its name is, instead of you going with Bear, you place that name in here or whatever. Like it's a very simple, easy to do change. It doesn't change any of the gameplay mechanics. It's all the same. It's just instead of us focusing on these spiritualistic animal things, we're focusing more on, hey, we have these powers and abilities from these zombies, and that's what we're utilizing here. So it makes sense to me. 4th level, I'll go over the ASIs real quickly here, since we only actually have 3 ASIs with this character. I've decided to go with Mobile here. Again, it fits into this character pretty well. We're going to be able to move further, move faster during our rounds. We're going to be able to hit something and get out of dodge. It makes sense to me. It's a very easy choice. I've decided to go Sharpshooter here too because it's going to apply to our long-range weapons with our guns. It's perfect. Why wouldn't we want this? And then for the final ace, I've decided to go with Elven Accuracy here because Elven Accuracy, it's amazing. If you have access, if you're a half elf or if you're an elf, take a look at Elven Accuracy. This is an insanely powerful ability. Anytime you have advantage on an attack, you're going to be able to give yourself essentially super advantage. Finally gain extra attack. At this point, we're like level 11, which is insane. But, I mean, that's the choice of either you're going down the path of the Barbarian after the Rogue, or you're going to be going down the path of the Fighter after the Rogue. So it's really up to you. I didn't feel like it was such a shitty thing to lose out on. So I didn't mind all too much. Of course, we also gain fast movement. We increase our movement speed by 10 feet while we aren't wearing heavy armor. So pretty nice. We gain Aspect of the Beast, so we get to choose another one. This is where I've decided to go with the Eagle here. It says she has insane perception abilities, and this is an insane perception ability right here. So all of a sudden, we gain the eyesight of an eagle. We can see up to a mile away with no difficulty, able to discern even fine details as though we're looking at something no more than 100 feet away from us. Additionally, dim light doesn't impose disadvantage on our wisdom perception checks. Fucking nothing's sneaking up on us unless we're in like a heavily wooded area or there's a mountain in our way. It's insane. This is a crazy, insane ability, and I feel like this really fits into that character. We gain Feral Instincts at 7th level, very typical, barbarian stuff. Brutal Critical, very useful. We gain Spirit Walker. This is something else that we can rename as something else, rebrand it, change it up a little bit. Talk with your Dungeon Master, see what you can do. You don't need to do much to claim this archetype as your own, really. And then we gain Relentless Rage. I really wanted to invest all these levels into the Barbarian so that we could get Relentless Rage. That way we don't need to always be maybe in close combat or like in medium range combat, so we need to be hit. The one way I was thinking that you could stay within Rage is that, for example, one of the weaknesses of the Bear Totem Barbarian here is that they aren't resistant to psychic damage. They're resistant to everything else. But maybe because this character is fighting this blood crazed urge, these urges of losing her humanity, maybe every round you're in combat, say you lose 3 hit points of damage, of hit points. That is psychic damage. You can't resist it. You can't do anything. You see you fighting against your inner demon, essentially. It's something like that. Maybe you can make an intelligence saving throw. That would be a really good one. You have an intelligence saving throw. If you maintain, like say you make the save, you're able to go ahead and stay within range without taking damage. And if you don't make the save, then all of a sudden you take some psychic damage, and maybe it's like even a higher number. Maybe it could be like a D8 or something crazy like that. So there's a very big risk versus reward. All of a sudden, maybe that will apply some pressure onto you. So like maybe you're rolling pretty poorly. You're not making those saves. Okay, I have to come out of the rage. I can't keep doing this. I'm either gonna drop, or maybe after you take so much psychic damage, you snap and you lose your mind, and your group has to deal with you. There's a lot of different possibilities of like very small homebrewing kind of things, like talking it with your dungeon master. Like those things, they're really cool and personalized, and they'll make a character that you and your group will remember. So that'll be very fun, I feel. But yeah, Relentless Rage, once you get up to that point, it would solve pretty much everything. And you've mastered this inner demon within you. You've mastered that side. And maybe if your dungeon master gets tired of you having these mastered abilities, maybe all of a sudden he can give you an item where, it's, even though you're going to be in rage all the time, the item will enhance something about you further, but it will go ahead and put you at risk again of falling into this cycle of, oh, I'm going to lose my mind, I'm going to kill everyone I care about, but, whatever. And then this is the point of which I was level 18. I'm like, do I really want 2 more ASIs? I was like, not really. So I've decided that I kind of wanted to just dip 2 levels into the monk here, mostly because we do gain unarmored movement. In this sense, I'm kind of locking myself into not wearing anything. Well, I mean, I'll be wearing. I'm a modest lady, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and have an even faster movement speed here. But I can't wear anything now with this, which is fine with me. But the bigger thing that we do gain is, of course, with our key, we're able to gain Step of the Wind. Step of the Wind is going to be great for us because it's going to make it so that our jump distance is doubled for the turn, which is not a small amount. And we'll go ahead quickly here and jump into that, pun not intended. Alright, so I found this website. It's not secure. I don't trust it, but, it'll do for now. So this character I read is 160 centimeters, so that's like what, 5... That's like 5'2". That's nearly 5. That's 5'2", nearly 5'3". We'll say she's 5'2". So all of a sudden, she's 5'2". We'll pretend that we're 5'2" here. What's our strength score? We got a 16 in our strength. So all of a sudden, horizontal jump distance of 16 feet, blah, 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 blah. Go ahead, we add our rogue thief second story work, and we managed to get our dexterity up to there. So we have a 21-foot horizontal jump, which is pretty good. Pretty fucking decent. And then we also have a high jump of 11 feet, which is also double our height, mind you. But that's impressive. Very, very impressive. And then all of a sudden, we bonus action Step of the Wind, and we're up to 42 feet horizontal and 22 feet straight up. That's nuts. That is insane. Also, you happen to have a spellcast in your group, they go ahead and cast Jump on you. You get 126 horizontal. That's a bit much, but that's just one small effect. That's just one example I wanted to show here of, hey, this character has some impressive natural ability to be able to vertically and horizontally jump. And it just adds on to that feel of being this supernatural being. Yeah, I felt like the monk really just with with those 2 levels gave us quite a lot. I mean, we gained some extra damage with hitting things with our fists, but I didn't really plan on doing that. But the extra movement speed, the extra jump height, I loved it. But if you don't really roll all too well, or you're not willing to invest more an ASI into getting your wisdom up or whatever you happen to need, the monk isn't necessary. You can skip it. You still jump very fucking far and very high. And I mean, 2 extra ASIs from either the rogue or the thief, or maybe if you want to go ahead and invest 2 points into the rogue, 2 more levels to get up to 5th level, you would gain uncanny dodge. Like, that'd be really good as well. So that's another option that you can go with here. That was a crazy character. Thank you very much. I'm not sure. I don't know if I should say people's names. I won't for now. It doesn't feel right. But thank you for recommending this character. It's very fun. It reminds me so much again of Alice from Resident Evil. I'm looking forward to playing this kind of character myself. Probably picking it up the next character that I play. But that'll be a little bit from now. But yeah, thank you again so very much for everyone who's subscribed, who's I've had nice conversations with, and it's been very pleasant lately. And yeah, have a great day. I hope you have fun with this. Bye-bye.